Hey, hello everyone. We're back with the deck profile, and today I want to introduce you to Lianorn post DBT12. So this will be a Masques build. Now, before we go into the detail, the biggest difference that came out after DBT12 is the existence of Rosarium Fairy. This is the support card for Lianorn and Rantia, and it says that if the opponent is grade 3 and it attacks, then it can choose one unit in the back row and it gains the power of that unit for that battle. And when it's placed, you can retire one to hold 2 plan tokens. So what makes the cards good is that it fixes a lot of problem from the previous Lianorn deck, especially in the Masques deck, because previously we have problems with power in the front row, but with Rosarium Fairy, you can actually stack the trigger power into one unit, and if you have 2 fairies in the front row, then they will gain those powers. So one trigger becomes have a value of 2 triggers. Okay, so let's move on to the build. Let's start with the right line. I'm using grade 0 Roroa and grade 1 Roroa. So this is a must in case some people forgot that if you want to use Roroa's grade 1 skill, you need the Roroa grade 0. So on right, gain 1 plan token, and this just makes a good line, 13k, but you can also have the option of calling Rosarium Fairy going second and to retire 1 plan tokens to call another 2 plan tokens, and you can make 2 13k lines, or you can actually make 3 lines with 5k guard each. It's totally up to the condition of the game. So for grade 2, we're going with Lianorn's right line, Rectina. The reason we're using Rectina is because she can revive one grade 1 or less. So what you can actually do is put Rosarium in the front row, attack, then if it gets attacked later, you just write to Lianorn and use her skill to revive Rosarium, and Rosarium can retire one to gain another 2 plan tokens. And these situations comes up quite a lot because people usually get scared when they look at Rosarium Fairy and start to try to attack it, but they kind of forgot about the greater Radland effect, and you just revive it, and you actually gain +1 because you can use Rosarium Fairy skill to gain another token gain. And for the grade A, of course, we're using the booster Lianorn, simply because it can card +1 and draw 1. Triple drive, still good card going first. There are no alternative for Lianorn, I think. Like, even if you use the trial deck, it doesn't really gives you anything better. Except if it's for the team tournament where you need different right lines, then you can bring to Lianorn in one team, but that's a whole different story. Okay, so concerning this right line, there will be some cards that we will adjust in the deck to make the most out of these right lines. But special mention that actually you can use another right line. For example, change this to Roroa, and you can actually go 13k, then write Roroa, and you can gain 10k line. Or if we were going with this setup, then we write Roroa, then we can actually make this line, for example, or we can make retire all this. So 10, 10, 13k line. So yeah, that's also an alternative. Also, this deck brings 6 orders, and potentially you can pump it up to 7. And in that case, you can actually bring the Zorga Ripeline. But I have decided to use this setup, so let's talk about the deck. Starting with the great ones, we're playing 4 of Rosarium Fairy. So I have already explained the role of Rosarium Fairy, and there really are nothing else I can see about Rosarium Fairy, but there will be a nitpick that I will show you that makes decks quite good early game. Like in grade 2, you can already make quite a big line. So the second card I'm bringing this is also from DBT12. It's called Yolanda. I don't think people actually play this card, but this is actually a really good alternative for the Lianorn's promo, Luster Impart Dragon, the one that gives you draw, the magazine promo. But since English doesn't have the promo yet, I think this is a good alternative. And personally, I don't have Luster Impart Dragon, so I'm using this card. Because, well, yeah, to be honest, Luster Impart Dragon is a better alternative, but she has a better play at turn 2, specifically. Only turn 2, unfortunately. After that, Luster Impart is just better. But we're bringing 4 of her. Then, before we go to the next card, I'm going to show why I'm bringing Yolanda. Okay, so let's say we go to grade 1 Gorowa, then we go to grade 2 Rekina. What you can actually do is you call 1 Rosarium Fairy. Rosarium Fairy skill activate, retire 1 to call 2 plant tokens. And you can actually call 1 Yolanda. So, sorry, I forgot to explain Yolanda's skill. Yolanda's skill is quite simple. It says, when this unit boosts, you can retire 2 of your grade 1 or less rear guards to gain 10k during that turn. During that battle, and then draw 1. So what you can actually do with this setup is that you can go 10k to Vanguard. I think people will usually guard this one, right? And you swing 13k. Let's say they say no guard and they get a damage trigger. You can actually go Yolanda boost token to Vanguard. This is 13k. Yolanda skill. You can retire 2 of this. Then Yolanda gains 10k for that battle, and you draw 1 card. So this is basically a free call because you draw 1, right? But then you've just lost 2 rear guards. How can you say it's a plus? So yeah, people can also say things like that. But first of all, this is a 23k line, and that's big. If your opponent doesn't get damage trigger, and you're going first, this is already 20k guard. And even if you're going second, you don't have to make this line. You can actually make this line, right? So, show that. Starting from the Roa, try to grade 2, call Fairy, retire 1, call 2 plant tokens, then call Yolanda here. This swings for 10, this swings for 10, this swings, and skill activate, retire 2, plus 10k and draw 1. This becomes a 26k line, and that's quite big. And people usually attack the Rosarium Fairy anyway. And next turn, you just write Lianorn using the Rekina skill, Soul Blaze Moon. Then you revive the Fairy, and you hit the Yolanda to call 2 plain tokens. Then you only need 2 more cards for a full field. Or in the alternative case of this line, you retire 2, and you write Lianorn, you soul best 1. Resurrect the fairy, then skill, retire 1, call 2 plain tokens. And yeah, we're good to go. Just your skill, card plus 1, draw 1, call 1, and we're good to go. And yeah, that's the reason I'm playing Yolanda. Yolanda enables the early game so much because she draws. One is that she draws, and second is that she gains 10k, making it really hard for the opponent to guard early game. And retire 2 is not that hard because we're playing with Stoichia with their tokens. So yeah, retire 2 is not really that expensive. Another factor to think of is that, let's say we have the earlier setup and the opponent set grade 3, then you swing, you boost, then you stand, right? And then you swing with Rosarium Fairy. Let's say we don't get any triggers. So this is usually is just 16k, right? Then Rosarium Fairy can choose one of the back row to gain the power. So 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 8, 24. But what you can actually do is you use your Yolanda skill first to retire 2 of your plain tokens, draw 1, gains 10k. Then you use the Rosarium Fairy to choose the Yolanda. Then you gain 18k. So this 10k have 20k value right now. So this 18 plus Rosarium Fairy copy 18. So that 18 plus 18 already 36. Plus Rosarium Fairy power, that becomes a 44k line. With no triggers, you can make one 44k column, and that's really big. That's really big. If you get a trigger, then this changes a whole lot more because this gain trigger, then using her skill plus another 10k, then Rosarium can choose the back row. This becomes 28 plus 28, 56 plus 8k. So that's already 64k line with just one trigger. That's huge. That's really huge. And of course, if you have another Rosarium Fairy, well, you won't get the 10k from the skill, but you still get the 10k from trigger. Or if you don't have any trigger, then yeah, you just win with 13 plus 8. That's still a 21k. But yeah, the specific situation of having Rosarium in the same column with Yolanda makes the column really huge. So yeah, what I want to say is that without the Master Impart Dragon, I think we can use Yolanda as a good alternative. And I think she's quite cheap, right? Nobody's actually playing her. Hopefully it doesn't get expensive because of this. Then the next card we're playing is for Misty Arc Habitat. I know this is expensive. This is a box topper, if I remember correctly, for English. But for Japan, it's promo. Now, the reason we're playing 4 of Misty Arc Habitat is because of every card in this deck, there's actually only 3 variation of cards that we want on the field. And 2 of them are this. And they are great ones, so we want them as soon as possible. So this is basically bringing 8 copies of each card. Because we want this to as soon as possible. If possible, at grade 2, to make the earlier play. So we're bringing 4 Misty Arc Habitat. And if we miss, then most likely we'll just hit another Habitat that you can add to hand. Worst case scenario, you call triggers, but that's rarely happens. Then we move on with the perfect cards. We're bringing 4 of the normal PG. You can bring 1 Elementaria Sanctity, but I'm currently using my substitute on another deck. Also, this is still a Lianorn deck, and English still have Gandiva, right? So actually, the ban list is quite soon. But yeah, if the meta is still on retire, then you still need units. Worst case scenario. We're bringing 2 Dianta. Honestly, we're bringing Dianta simply because there was Gandiva. Right now, I don't really think you need to bring this Dianta. But it's still a good choice because one is that she's a 13k, so a good copy target for Rosarium Fairy, and second is just revive, so you just call this, revive this, and you can actually just retire Dianta to gain 2 tokens, so 1 card for 3 units, just really good. Alternative for Dianta can be a lot of things, especially with the coming of DBT13. There's the card that lets you retire and draw 1, but right now Dianta is still a good alternative. If you don't have Dianta, you can bring 2 Mushroom, I think. Yeah, Mushroom is also quite good for this deck. Next, we're bringing 1 of the Carbuncle. Why we're bringing the Carbuncle is, first is that it's a 20k shield. Second is that it gives 5k pump to 1 unit. And this is really important, and I will show you later after we go to the Masques. But yeah, the weakness is that it's soul shards too, so you run the risk of soul charging triggers with this Carbuncle, but we're bringing 1. Next off, we're going to the grade 2. So for grade 2, we're bringing 3 of Deep Evaluate. Deep Evaluate search for Masques, and well, honestly, the deck just shut down if you don't get Mass of Hydrogram. So the reason why we're not running this at 4 is because we're running 4 of the Habitat, so you can just play Habitat, call this. There's also an alternative of going with 4 this and 3 Habitat, but I'm running 4 because I really want to see this on the early game. You can also change 1 Dianta to this, and the other one, yeah, just bring 1 is also no problem. But yeah, we're using the Counterblast for Masques and Evaluate, so I don't think it's wise to bring too much Dianta. Next, we're going to the grade 3. Of course, we're bringing 4 of the Lianorn Masques. Then we're bringing 2 of the Mass of Hydrogram. You can bring 3, but I think 2 is sufficient. And in this deck, you want to actually use the Masques because it search for Persona, and even if you minus 1, then yeah, that's not your day, but you really need to Persona ride every turn with this deck because Leonor Masques with the Persona is quite weak. Better raise your chance. Next, we're bringing 2 of the normal Lianorn, and some of you will probably think, what the heck, why are you still bringing 2 of the normal Lianorn in a Masques deck? The reason is quite simple. You actually want to use Lianorn Masques skill to remove Lianorn from play. So if this comes to your hand, you just discard it as a right fodder to gain another plus on related turn. And for a bonus, you can actually retire 1. Worst case scenario, you don't get all of this, then you just Persona ride. This will change to Vivace. Is that the correct way to pronounce Vivace? I don't know. Yeah, Leonor Vivace will replace this because it serves the same purpose of reviving something, but you can actually just ride over the Leonor Masques and Unison Dress will activate, but that will be another video when DBT13 came out in English. actually already have Vivace though, and I've already bring Vivace to a tournament. But yeah, that's another story. So that's it for the deck, and we're going for the triggers. This is, I think Lianorn is combo deck, so that's why we're bringing 3 draws. Then Stoichia over trigger, simply because it's just a better. What was the name again? The blue over trigger? Yeah, if you're in Stoichia, you don't need to buy the blue one. Just bring the normal Stoichia over trigger. Because it does almost the same thing, except you just draw one, not self-aging one, but you gain heal and front. And then, there's nothing much to say about the other cards. We're bringing 8 crits. Definitely try to get the Vanguard crits, because they say that with higher rarity, you gain higher chance to check critical. And yeah. 8 crits. And then for the heal, we're bringing 2 of the normal heal and 2 of the standing heal. Now, this will probably be different for English meta, but right now we're in Japan expansion. The strongest deck, I think, right now is Maigo, and Maigo resistance, so we have to bring this heal because it really helps. But you can go 4 of the normal heal, or you can actually go with the crit ones, because critical, I think, is also still quite good. But if English do gain Maigo, then definitely try to get this heal. And that's it for the deck profile, and I will show some of the plays that we can actually do with Lianorn Masques. Let me fix this up for a bit. So the general flow of the game is quite simple. Actually, let me just give you a play test so it become realistic, right? Because people will say, that's just the ideal setup or something, but let's just show what it actually looked like playing Lianorn in DBT12. And if you ask whether it is a good deck or not, I think it's quite good, but we do have Magnolia Masques for the same Stoichia deck, so I think Magnolia is also quite good. So we'll try with this hand. This is quite bad, so I'm going to return. It's either 4 or 5, I think, because we really needed Rosarium Fairy on the starting hand. Because Rosarium Fairy just gives you a great speed for your game. But keeping Lianorn is also quite good, because this as a discard fodder, this is the best card to discard. And keeping PG is always good, right? But I really want to see my Rosarium Fairy, so we're returning 5. Hopefully we see one. Okay, this is actually not that bad. And then we go stand up Vanguard, and let's say we're going first. Actually, let's say we're going second, because Masques plays second, right? So if we go second, then we draw. And then by this point, we can already know what the opponent deck is, right? Except if they're using weird right lines, but most of the time you can already see what your opponent plays. Then you can actually discard the heal if the opponent doesn't play freestanding units, right? Right draw 1, going second draw 1, and we gain 1 clan tokens. This is really bad because I think we don't shuffle enough. Then he just swings with 13k. Opponent will probably no guard, so the reason we're bringing raw right lane is to force the opponent no guard, because playing Lianorn, it's about how many of your critical trigger actually converts to the opponent damage. So right here, unfortunately no trigger, and we're going to get attacked. And in our hand we have DBT12, so it's a good thing to no guard. And unfortunately our Rosarium Fairy goes to damage. Let's say it's a conservative game and the opponent doesn't really attack that much. Stand and draw. And that becomes a really bad hand. Let's discard the draw trigger and write Rekina. And we go with DBT12, counter +1, pull +1 to search for the Masques of Inner Group. And then we're going to get one Dragon Tree marker. Now this is what truly changed the deck, because in the build before we put it in front for the unit to gain power, right? Because the front row restand. But with Rosarium Fairy, because it copies the back row, you can actually put the marker on back row, and then if you have the Rosarium Fairy, both of them will still get the 5k. So always put it on the back row. Then don't really need to rush that much. Unfortunately, we didn't get the piece that we want, so just swing 10k and 15k. Check. Draw trigger, nice. But we still don't get any piece to play with. So let's say the opponent goes to grade 3, and let's say we're playing against Impart, then I'll probably no guard the first one, and let's say they gain 1 crit. So draw trigger, very nice. Draw 1 10k, then second damage check, nothing. Then they will go to Tempest. Let's say this cat goes to bottom, then we have to guard the Tempest probably. So I'm going to perfect guard that one, discarding. Now we don't actually have the Masques yet, so I'm going to discard Yolanda. Especially because we don't have any good grade 1 on the group zone to revive with Rekina skill, so we're going to dump it now or on the right step, so use it for guard. Then let's say both river attacks can be guarded with 15k and 15k since we got a damage trigger. Stand and draw. Really nice. I'm going to discard Lianorn to write Lianorn. Then Rekina skill, so +1 to revive Yolanda. Usually call Yolanda here, under the marker, above the marker, above the marker. I think I discard the wrong card. We cannot actually discard Lianorn because we have to discard the mask if we want to use the habitat. So this is a choice you want to make, but I don't want to go into Lianorn Masques without Rosarium Fairy, so I'm discarding the mask. Then we're going to use the habitat. Shadow set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a Rosarium Fairy. Definitely grab Rosarium Fairy. And call it to the field. Shuffle. And Rosarium Fairy skill activate. One place you can retire 1. Call 2 plane tokens. You can use Lianorn skill to counter +1, draw 1, and call 1. Well, it's not really, there are really not many choices, but we'll just call Lianorn here. And what a coincidence, we actually drew to Lianorn Masques, and we already have a Rosarium Fairy, so it's not a bad idea to go to Persona, right? Draw 1. Now, really nothing much to do. To swing with this. This is 13k, so this gains 13k. So that's included with Persona. This is 31. That's already a 20k guard. Then we swing with 23. And then we're going with Lianorn Masques to Vanguard. we will see the opponent's response. If they no guard, then actually the decisions comes later, but yeah, we'll just swings like this, then twin drive first check. Yolanda, second check. Ethereum Fairy, unfortunately no trigger. Then at the end of the battle, you can counterblast one to stand 2 rear guards. Now, in the past, we usually go like this, right? But right now, this is a weak line, like 23 is not that good. So we can actually stand this one, and let's say the opponent is at like 3 damage. Even if they, even if you stand 2 and there are 3 damage, they're just going to no guard everything to 5, right? So it's better to just stand this. This swings, you're on the skill. Retire 2 plan tokens, gain 10k and draw 1. So you get a draw. Then use Rosarian Fairy to copy Yolanda. That's 18 plus 5, so 5 from the marker, right? That's 23. So this gains another 23k. And that's huge. So 16 plus 40, 56, 61, 64. This is a 64 line. Imagine if you check right there, right? And then you just pass your turn. And let's say you perfect guard one of your attacks. And then you no guard. And then you guard with the Carbuncle. Returning the grade 1 and grade 0 to the right back. So that's a 20k shield, then you guard with 25k, for example. Then you go stand and draw. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get a persona, right? So what we're going to do right now is using Leonor skill to remove Lianorn from the game. We're going to revive. Oh, actually, sorry. I thought we have a Rosarium Fairy. Actually, don't use the skill, just use Rosarium, retire 1, hold 2 plain tokens. And that's already a good field, but we're not persona riding, so this is really small. Even if we choose Yolanda, it's only 21. What you can actually do is you remove one Lianorn, revive the Carbuncle, and Carbuncle gains skill. You remove Lianorn, return one Lianorn and the right leg to Soulcharge 2. And choose one unit and gain 5k. You choose this and your line just become a little bit better. This swings for 18 plus 8, so 26, and Masques attack. You go twin drive. Over figure really nice. So you draw 2 cards. You heal. You get crit. You gain front. But definitely give the 100 million to the back row. And you check the second one and there's nothing. Master skill, convert 1, and your stand 2. Then this becomes 1 million. This also becomes 1 million. Yeah, so we basically use Yolanda to as a copy target for the power and adjust accordingly whether you want to stand 1 row or 2 row. Like do you want to get 2 attacks or you want to gain 1 huge column? That's basically how to play it back. Another interesting thing is that in this kind of situation, So this also comes out in the Q&A section for Yolanda, because Leonor Masques skill says that when this unit attack, so swing this, then you swing with this, right? Then you choose 3 units with boost Leonor Masques. And then it says that at the end of the battle, if this was boosted by 3 units, you can counterblast 1 to stand 2 rearguards, right? So this is already boosted by 3 units. But at this point, you can actually use Yolanda's skill to retire 2 and draw 1 plus 10k for that battle only. So you only do this if you want to get the draw, and you definitely want to swing with 2 attacks. This is only to get the draw, and it's still counted as boosted by 3 units because the timing is already the check timing is already over, I think. I don't know, but the Q&A clearly states that you can actually do this. You swing, boost by 3 units, then you use Yolanda to retire to draw 1, and you can still counterblast 1 to stand to rear guards. That's to confirm any confusion about Yolanda, because it says that, so the wording is choose 3 units, 3 standing unit with boost this unit, and if 3 unit boost at the end of the battle, counterblast 1, choose 2 and stand. So the 3 unit already boosted. It doesn't check whether at the end of the battle it was boosted by 3 units or not, but whether the effect makes you boost with 3 units. And I think that's it for the drag profile. If you have any question, feel free to leave a comment below. Definitely will be helpful if you want to share this with your friend, your local Lianorn player or something like that. I'm currently chasing for monetization. I'm actually 700 watch hours short. So any view would be really helpful. I'm actually also chasing for 2k subs for this year before 2024, so it will also be really helpful if you can click like and subscribe. I'm usually make deck profiles and fight videos, but I mainly do weekly remote fight. So every Friday I will do a remote fight on Discord, and we'll stream it on YouTube to play together with everyone. And it's not limited only to Vanguard, but also Waste Wars, Digimon, what else? One Piece, Battle Spirits, you name it. There's actually a lot of games that I play. So if you're interested, please don't hesitate to come to my weekly stream or join the Discord server. Link is down below. I think that's it for DBT12 Lianorn deck profile. This will be quite a short season because next month we already get DBT13, but I think it's quite worthwhile to get the cards because Rosarium is needed in the future. Masques is also still one of the most popular deck builds. So I don't know if you guys in the English community already heard about the Rainbow Lianorn. So you basically bring normal Lianorn, Masques, and Vivace in one deck. And so yeah, it's still worthwhile to pick up the Masques, simply because Vivace is really bad going second. So to give a counterplay, you bring Masques so that your third turn going second is actually also still going big. or even possibly little if you check on overtake. And Habitat is just a good card to pick up in any Stoichia deck, so really recommend getting this card. A lot of Stoichia deck actually can use this card. And for Yolanda, this is just cheap, guys. I think, I don't know the price for English set, but this is basically their cheap, right? Even though it's double R, nobody uses it, so I think it's worthwhile to pick it up and try to use it. Just think of it as getting scammed by me and try to use the card. Really recommend. And I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. Leave a comment. Any suggestion is welcome. Any question is also welcome. And if you do top with this list, please don't hesitate to let me know. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.